Hello, my name is Abby Brooke Edwards, and this is my dissertation topic for my PhD in history. Born in the 11th century in La Palette, France, Peter Abelard would become a renowned philosopher and a highly sought-after tutor. At 32, Abelard would take a bright young scholar by the name of Heloise under his tutelage. The scholars would start a secret affair which would grow to destroy the pair's reputations and invite shame to follow them into old age. This shadow of shame stretched so far that many who know the names of Abelard and Heloise, even in modern times, may not be aware of the depth of their individual intellects because of the bulk of literature surrounding the couple, and even the artistic renderings that capture their memory have been devoted to their overly eroticized narrative. It's unfortunate that history has more readily attached their persons to a lustful tale of desired but forbidden love, instead of bestowing upon their legacy the intellectual merit behind their relationship. The true substance of Abelard and Heloise lay not in their physical love, but in their intellectual connection. Abelard developed philosophical ideas and conclusions on the nature of intentionality far ahead of many thinkers, with his writing going on to influence minds such as Immanuel Kant, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, and Friedrich Nietzsche. Abelard's thoughts on the nature of intentionality are detailed in his work, Ethics, which, as religious historian Jean Porter stated, placed him far ahead of mainstream medieval thought. Scholarship minimizes his significant philosophical contribution due to the emphasis on his affair with Heloise, which has led the tutor to become one of history's most undervalued philosophers. While their story is often sorted under the romantic or erotic genre, this categorization overlooks the profound intellectual partnership that formed the foundation of their enduring connection. The literature surrounding Abelard and Heloise falls into two schools of thought, one paying emphasis to their romance and the other recognizing the scholarly prowess they had to offer. This examination will be accomplished by evaluating the personal correspondences between the pair after their physical separation. After Heloise fell pregnant, a hasty wedding in 1115 followed. However, the bliss of marriage would only last for 2 years before the sin of Abelard would catch up to him. When Heloise's uncle, Fulbert, a canon at the Cathedral of Notre Dame, ordered his castration in 1117, Abelard would take his mutilated body, soiled name, and turn his back on the French society that at one time had given him fame. Heloise revised her impure image of premarital promiscuity and became a well-respected abbess. It was during this time, through an exchange of letters, that tutor and tutee fell in love with one another's intellectual worth. The nature of this connection, I believe, is summarized well in one of Shakespeare's sonnets called The Marriage of True Minds, because even when they were physically separated, their minds remained married. Why they continued their relationship and how that inspired an intellectual awakening in Western philosophy are the inquiries that are going to be addressed. The great reveal of this project is not merely to show how Abelard was an eclipsed philosopher that deserves to be standing among the philosophical giants that we know today, which he is and he should be, but the greater and arguably deeper revelation being sought is to show that the thoughts behind Abelard's greatest works were from the mind of his wife, Heloise. Heloise is the nearly invisible woman who one might catch an unclear peek of only to see her feminine silhouette draped in scandal and diminished by the body politics surrounding the high medieval period. But her true form is that of a philosopher in her own right. The erudite figure of Heloise is even more striking in contrast to her limited intellectual mobility as a woman during the 11th century, and the negative body politics that her affair earned her. Eloise and her husband shared a mental bond that should cast their fiery physical affair in the shadows. Through careful reading, critical analysis, primary sources, source mining, and contextual scholarship, this dissertation intends to unveil the true Eloise from beneath her abbess habit and display the renaissance of Abelard and Eloise, their influence and their relevancy to intellectual history. I studied medieval philosophy, its trends, and specifically Abelard and Heloise for the past few years, and have been absolutely captivated fascinated by their story and their impact and relevancy on Western philosophy. So I'm very eager to begin. I'm excited to bring all of this research and information into one cohesive project, being this dissertation. So I appreciate you listening and about my research on Abelard and Heloise, and hope you'll stick around to see how it unfolds. So thank you.